In this video, let us see how to make this beautiful and elegant looking cookie cups using chocolate chip cookie dough batter. And guess what? It's eggless! Yay! We are also going to fill this cute little cookie cups with some decadent, silky and smooth, just melt in your mouth chocolate mousse. Shh, it's a secret. Don't let anyone know that you just need two basic simple ingredients and 5 minutes of your time to make this decadent melt in your mouth frosting. A big shout out to Sunita Mundra for taking the time out to connect with me on my email ID and sending a personal request for this recipe. So this one is specially for you. And I also have a bonus for all of you guys. With the same cookie dough recipe, we will also be making a small batch of eggless chocolate chip cookies that is perfectly crisp on the edges and soft in the center. So here's to making two recipes using one single cookie dough batter. Start by adding in some softened butter to a bowl. Now softened literally means a butter that is so soft that you can literally slide your fingers through it. To achieve this, simply place the butter at room temperature 2 hours prior to starting with the recipe. Along with the butter, also add in the brown sugar and caster sugar to it. Brown sugar adds a nice caramelized flavor and color to our cookies. If you do not have brown sugar handy, definitely you can use caster sugar in its place, but the taste might vary a bit. So once you have added all the three ingredients, simply beat it until the butter turns light, creamy, fluffy and changes its color to almost pale yellow. I'm definitely going to show you all the stages of creaming the butter and sugar, so guys, just stay tuned for it. Also, do remember to scrape your bowl every now and then to ensure that there is even creaming. So after 5 minutes of beating the butter and sugar together, this is how it looks. The sugar is starting to dissolve and come together with butter, but it's quite not there yet. You can see that the butter is not light and fluffy and the color is also brown at this stage. So keep beating, keep beating, keep beating. After a total time of 10 minutes, you can noticeably see the difference. The color has started becoming pale and the butter has started to come together, but we will still keep beating and check after 15 minutes. So after 15 minutes, we are definitely there. You can literally see that the butter is light and fluffy. At this stage, we will go ahead and add our milk in two batches. So add half of your milk at this stage, beat it well until it is all combined, and then add the second set of milk. Finally, it's time to include the dry ingredients. Place a sieve and simply add in your plain flour, baking powder and a pinch of salt. Mix that through and sift it together. Mix that through and beat it until it is all combined as a dough. Do not overmix or else you will end up with a flat cookies rather than cookies that would have a beautiful crinkle and cracks all over. Finally, fold through your chocolate chips and your cookie dough batter is all ready. You can never go wrong with the chocolate chip cookie dough. Yummy! Using an ice cream scoop, simply scoop out the batter and add it to a baking tray that has been pre-lined with parchment paper. If you do not have an ice cream scoop, then just take 2 tablespoons as your measurement. Make a roundel out of the same and place it on the cookie tray. Now do remember to keep adequate space between each of the cookies because they tend to spread quite a lot in the oven. And another important step is to chill them in the refrigerator for a minimum of 2 hours before you bake them, and then bake it in a preheated oven of 180 degrees Celsius for around 12 to 15 minutes. Let it cool in the pan itself for 5 minutes and then transfer to a cooling rack to cool completely. At this stage, you can also top it with some sea salt or maybe place additional chocolate chips on top so that it looks just perfect. A cheat code or a shortcut, you can say. Once cooled completely, you can store them in an airtight container for around 3 to 4 days. Look at that beautiful texture, the crumbs, everything is just perfect. So you have to bake these cookies until they are golden brown around the edges but still retain the light shade at top and also have an even coloration at the base. So that's an indication that your cookies are done. So in order to store the rest of the dough, simply wrap them up using a cling wrap, and you can store it in your refrigerator for nearly 3 days and use it as and when needed. And if you would like to store it for a longer period of time, then simply give the dough a rectangular or circular shape, wrap it with a cling wrap nicely so that there is no passage of air whatsoever, and then place it in the freezer for up to 3 months and use it as and when needed. Just more details on how to store the dough, troubleshooting common problems of making a cookie dough, and other additional details can be found on the blog spicesandflavors.com. I'll link it up down below if you would like to check it. For today, however, we are not going to store it, but instead make the cute little cookie cups. The format remains the same. Simply scoop out 2 tablespoons of dough into each cavity of your muffin tin and then bake it in a preheated oven of 180 degrees Celsius for around 15 to 18 minutes. And once out of the oven and still warm, using a circular object like a tablespoon as I have used, simply press the batter down to create the cavity. So let this sit in the pan itself for a further 10 minutes and then remove it using a sharp knife like the way you can see it here in the video. Transfer it to a cooling rack to cool completely. Let's make them even more attractive. So here I have 30 grams of melted chocolate and some sprinkles in a plate. Simply dip the cookie cups so that the rim is coated with our melted chocolate and immediately transfer it to the sprinkles plate to cover it all up with those beautiful, colorful and so pretty sprinkles. Set this aside to set completely, and now let's start making the filling, for which you will need some chopped chocolates and cream. We are going to make the ganache first. Place the bowl over a pot of simmering water and then combine it or stir it in between until the chocolate is all melted and combined with the cream to form a thick paste which is known as the ganache. Take it off the flame until it has cooled down a bit and thickened too. To fasten the process, you can also place it in the refrigerator to chill. That would take around 5 minutes. Meanwhile, start whipping the cream to soft peak stage. And once you reach that, make sure that the chocolate is completely cooled before adding it in batches to your softly whipped cream. If it is hot, you know that the chocolate would melt the cream and it would turn into disaster. So make sure that the chocolate is cooled enough, then whip it by adding a little at a time until you reach the stiff peak stage. And that's it, your 2-ingredient silky smooth chocolate mousse frosting is all ready in just 5 minutes. You can also use this frosting to fill and frost an entire cake like I had done recently with one of my cakes. And now all you have to do is simply fill these cute little cookie cups with our decadent and delicious chocolate mousse frosting. And that's it, you have an amazing dessert to be served for any occasion. For cherry on the cake look, simply garnish it with some chocolate bars. You can check out my video recipe post on the same. Instead of making the mousse filling, you can simply pour in some milk onto it or some other fillings such as plain whipped cream or maybe a custard. It's up to you, totally your choice. So this is how our cookie cup looks from within. Just like Sunita, please feel free to connect with me on any of my social media platforms or through email. I would love to hear your suggestions, recommendations and opinions about our channel. If you like this video, definitely hit that like button, subscribe to Spices and Flavors for more such baking and dessert related recipes. I'll see you soon in my next one. Until then, this is Sushma signing off. Take care. Bye-bye.